So, if you're using Claude Code, you've probably figured out it's way more than just a fancy autocomplete, right? It's this powerful AI assistant that can genuinely understand your entire code base. But to really get it to that next level, you have to go beyond just tinkering with prompts. And that's exactly what we're going to break down. Here's the thing, and this is really the core idea of our whole discussion. Getting those truly game-changing results with Claude doesn't come from finding some secret magic prompt. Nope. It's all about changing how you work with it. It's about building the right systems and the right workflows around the tool. And that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? How do you go from, hey, that was kind of cool, to getting predictable, high-quality results every single time? Well, that's exactly what we're going to get into today. All right, here's our game plan. First, we're going to talk about a crucial mindset shift from chatbot to teammate. Then we'll dive into the single most important setup step, properly onboarding your new AI assistant. After that, we'll tackle how to manage its memory or context window. Then we'll look at how your role shifts from coder to architect. And finally, we'll get into some really cool patterns for scaling up your entire workflow. Okay, first things first, to really get the most out of Claude, you have to stop thinking of it as a chatbot that you just copy and paste code from. You've got to start treating it like a member of your team. So what do we even mean by an agentic teammate? Think about it like this. It's an AI that actually works inside your development environment. It has agency. It can read your project files, run commands in your terminal, and even run tests to verify its own work, all without you having to manually step in every few seconds. And this is where the difference really clicks. The old chatbot model creates a ton of friction. You're the human bridge, constantly copying, pasting, and translating. But the agentic teammate model, it gets rid of that friction. It completely automates that tedious loop of write, run, debug, repeat. This frees you up to think about the bigger picture. And if you're thinking, is all this structure really necessary? Well, look at this number, 33%. Anthropic's own research found that when you just wing it with Claude, you only succeed about a third of the time. This isn't a tool you can just casually chat with and expect miracles. Discipline and structure are absolutely mandatory. Okay, so how do we build that structure? How do we get that success rate way, way up? It all starts with properly onboarding Claude to your project, using its incredible built-in memory system. The magic here is in these special files called claude.md. And what's so brilliant is how they're layered. It's like a set of nested instructions. Claude starts by reading your global rules, your personal preferences. Then it reads the rules for the specific project you're in. And finally, it zooms in on any super specific rules in the exact subdirectory you're working in. It's an incredibly smart, context-aware system. But what do you actually put in these files? This is super important. You want to focus on the stuff Claude can't figure out just by reading your code. Things like your specific build and test commands, any unique naming conventions you use, or those weird, non-obvious quirks every project has. You want to avoid telling it things it already knows, like basic Python syntax, or useless advice like, please write clean code. Okay, but there's a catch, and it's a big one. You've basically got a budget for Claude's attention. Research suggests that after its own internal instructions, it can really only track about 100 to 150 of your custom rules before things start to get fuzzy. If you bloat your cla.md files, it'll just start ignoring the rules. So you have to be ruthless. Keep it concise. And that idea of a budget, it leads us right into our next big topic, managing the context window. Because here's a secret a lot of people miss. That huge 200,000 token limit, it's kind of a trap. The real resource you're managing isn't tokens, it's the model's attention. In fact, a lot of power users have landed on what they call the 60% rule. Basically, once you fill up that context window past about 60% capacity, performance starts to take a nosedive. The model starts to forget instructions from earlier in the conversation, including those really important rules from your claude.md file. So how do you deal with this? How do you keep Claude sharp and focused during a long coding session? There's a super simple, super effective pattern called document and clear. And trust me, it works way better than relying on any automatic system. It's as simple as 1, 2, 3. First, you just take a second to jot down your current status and what you plan to do next in a quick markdown file. Second, you run the /clear command to totally wipe the slate clean. And third, you kick off the new session by just telling Claude to read your progress file. Boom. Fresh start with only the most important context. Okay, so once you've got Claude's memory sorted, something really cool starts to happen. Your role begins to change. You start to shift from being the person typing every character to being the architect who directs the implementation. Think about it. The normal way, direct prompting, is like telling a builder, just start building the house. It's risky, right? You might waste a lot of time and materials. Plan mode is different. It's like asking for the blueprint first. You work with Claude to create a detailed plan, and you approve that plan before a single line of code gets written. And actually using it couldn't be easier. You hit Shift plus Tab twice, and bam, you're in architect mode. In this mode, Claude can research and read files, but it can't make any changes. You two collaborate on the plan. Once it's perfect, you hit Shift plus Tab just once to switch into auto-accept mode, and Claude will execute that plan flawlessly. All right, once you get the hang of all that, you're ready to really scale up. We're moving from a one-on-one pairing session to basically orchestrating a whole team of Claudes. This is where your productivity can really explode. First step, automation. You can actually run Claude from the command line without the back-and-forth chat just by using the -p flag. This is a game changer for things like your CI pipelines. You can have it review code automatically, or you can build it into pre-commit hooks to fix all your linting errors before you even commit. But what if you need to work on a few things at once? This is where it gets really wild. You can run multiple clausettes in parallel. The pro tip here is to use Git worktrees, which lets you have isolated copies of your codebase. This way, you can have one Claude instance working on a new feature, another one fixing a bug, all at the same time with no conflicts. You can even have one writing tests while another writes the code to pass them. And for the grand finale, what if you have to change hundreds, maybe thousands of files? For those massive refactors, there's a technique called the fan-out pattern. You start by asking Claude to just generate a list of all the files that need to be updated. Then you write a tiny script that just loops through that list and calls the non-interactive Claude on each one. It's an unbelievably powerful way to automate huge code-based migrations. So when you put all these pieces together, the new mindset, the structured onboarding, the careful context management, it points to a really profound shift in how we work. If your AI teammate is the one executing the low-level code, what does that make you? The question I want to leave you with is this. Are you still a coder, or are you becoming an architect of AI coders?